It's the Blue and Gold post-game show here on right here on the A&T Athletics Facebook and YouTube pages, as well as TobaccoRoadSportsRadio.com, and just a heartbreaking loss for the Aggies, 38-34 without Swann. Donal, Ware with you. And I mean, A&T had every opportunity to win this game, was dominating the game, and ended up losing this game, Al. So just your impressions on the loss by A&T.
It's a tough loss. I mean, it's hard to put it into words. And I think one of the things that you can draw from this is that it's a four-quarter game. I mean, you got to play the entire ball game. And A&T dominated the first half, looked as sharp as we have ever seen the Aggies look offensively. Defense made plays, but we talked before the game about the Aggies' inability to stop the explosive plays. And again, we saw William and Mary using explosive plays to keep them in the ball game. They hung around, and we see the results that we get. I mean, the Aggies just, I won't say they gave it away, but boy, I tell you, they made it easy for William and Mary to come back. And this is a tough loss. This is really a tough loss.
Craig says, tough loss, Aggie pride. John says, Lord have mercy, we had this game. We will be all right. Craig says, too many explosive plays, and that's what it was. Once A&T started giving up the explosive plays, that's when things started to go down for the Aggies.
And that's been, of course, our Achilles heel all year. And we were hoping that we would see a remedy for that. But again, explosive plays kept them in the game. Explosive plays gave them the lead. And there's no way you can describe this except this is just a tough, devastating loss for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T.
So, of course, it's homecoming next week, and you'd hope maybe to have some. It's not, I don't know. It's not that you lost. You don't want to lose, obviously, but it's not that you lost. It's the way in which you lost the game, and now, of course, you got to go into homecoming next week against South Carolina State. Go out of conference. Would have been nice to have some momentum going into the game against South Carolina State.
Right. I mean, not just the fact that it's homecoming, but you playing a South Carolina State team that is, from all accounts, a really good ball club. And so you hate to use the word must win, but this is almost a situation where the Aggies find themselves in next week in a must win situation. But I would think, Don, it's going to take a while to get over this one. You use the, hyperbole, you put it behind you and you move on to the next game. And my goodness, that coach, that's easy to say, but boy, a loss like this, I mean, it sticks with you for a while. Trust me, it really does.
And let's see, we have, AJ says KJ White in the A&T offense played well today. Anthony said explosive plays. Hans says, happy Saturday, fellas. Not many words from me today. Al, you said it correctly. We gave it away. Our defense is too porous and susceptible to big plays, and our run game simply ain't there. Run game was better today, but again, the explosive plays, and A&T was playing well in the beginning, limited. There were no explosive plays to be had, but once that one explosive play had, 3 or 4 more came on that were critical in this loss today.
And in terms of our running game, we've mentioned this, we're used to, this was running back U. We've had some great running backs here. And it's not to say that, Wesley and Braves and Blizzard are not good running backs, but they're not explosive backs that can take it to the house from anywhere on the field. And there were a couple of opportunities today that they could have broken it, but they just don't have the speed. And William and Mary just hung around, and in the end, it paid off. They were able to come out of here with a big win.
A&T did have 157 yards rushing today, much better than we've seen. In the matter of fact, this may be the highest rushing yards Also, I have to think back to the Hampton game.
Right.
A couple of touchdowns for Wesley Graves, 25 carries, 93 yards. Kevin White, 20 of 28, 225 yards, a touchdown, no interception. He also had another rushing touchdown, and he had to gut it out at the end when he was clearly hurt.
And you would think going into a game that if you told A&T fans that we're going to have 157 yards rushing today and Kevin White's going to throw for 229, 9 times out of 10, you would come away with the opinion we're going to win this game. This game is going to be winnable, but it just was not to be today, Donald.
Yep, let's see. Timothy says SMH. Gregory says, man, keep fighting and keep your heads up. Janelle says SMH blew this game. Inexcusable. Janelle says poor execution. Greg says, did Olderman get hurt? I didn't see him in the second half. Not 100% sure about Olderman. He had that big fumble recovery.
Right.
Let's see. Ice Cold says our run defense was better this game. More variety in the run game. Or excuse me, our run offense was better this game. More variety in the run game, but didn't draw up the best play on that fourth down. That was a critical fourth down because you had a situation where Kevin White got outside, got to his left, and then he didn't have, and again, he's not 100%. Right. So you're asking a guy generally that would have gotten past that defensive end to do a little bit more, and he didn't throw it up. Probably should have given, a player a chance perhaps, and wasn't going to make it into the end zone, and really not ran. Well, he ran out of bounds. He got banged out of bounds also.
Exactly.
Yeah. So tough deal. Just a tough deal. But now you got to put it behind you, and going to South Carolina State, who I don't know. I know South Carolina State had homecoming today. Was playing Savannah State. You would think South Carolina State would win that game, but coming into this game, South Carolina State lost last week to Charleston Southern. Was 2-3. So, we'll see what, again, the Aggies got to put this behind them and get ready for South Carolina State.
And the thing you got to remember, too, with A&T, they really play hard, but the margin for error is just so small with this team. I mean, you almost got to play a perfect game, which is really hard to do. And we thought they were on their way to doing that. That first half, it was just complete domination, and second half, they just couldn't. William and Murray just hung in there, got a couple of big plays, and of course, we know what the outcome is. So, just a devastating loss for A&T.
Really is trying to pull up. Oh, yeah, it's final score today: South Carolina State 49, Savannah State 6.
Wow. Okay.
So, even though Savannah State is playing up against South Carolina State, still a dominating victory, as Hans pointed out right there. Let's see. DC says, we're getting there, Aggies. Big plays killed us, but we got to keep fighting. And we as a fan base got to be patient. John says, well, good news is we will win some more CAA. I'm thinking they are improving. See, Robert says Aggies are improving, but just not quite enough. Got to clean up the penalties. Yep, penalties definitely were a factor in this game. As a matter of fact, from a penalty, I was trying to see if I could see that here on the live stats. I don't see the penalties in terms of what A&T had, but it was I remember in the fourth quarter, it was 7 penalties for 50 yards at that point. But again, just got as Tanya says, you got to keep pushing.
Yeah, you got to keep pushing. But in the meantime, this is going to be, I think, really a tough one to swallow. It's going to take you got to put it behind you because you got a game next week. And as you know, the old saying in football, you don't want to lose twice to the same team.
Yeah.
And so that's the danger that we have. We don't want to lose twice to William and Mary today, and we don't, come back next week and lose that game. So it's going to be a challenge for the players. It's going to be a challenge for the coaching staff. But you got to do it. You got no other choice. So that's just the way it is.
I see you, Fred Webb. He says the false start penalties on the offense of line hurt us at critical times. Clean it up, and we will be a much better team. Keep pounding. Things will get better. I'm glad you're saying that, Fred, because I tell you what, this is a tough one. I mean, again, it's the way that the loss happened, because it was domination in the first quarter, 10-point leads throughout the game. You think back to the turnover. We had a critical turnover in the second half that led to William and Mary points. And it's just one of those things where everybody's got to move. Got to move on from it. Get ready for South Carolina State. Let's see. ODB, what's good, fellas? Long time no see. I'm encouraged by what I saw today. The future is looking bright. I mean, I got to be honest with you, Aggie fans. I mean, I think we feel worse than you guys do right here. You're right. It's better than what we saw last year. But, again, just kind of having this lead and thinking, okay, on paper, you matched up well. This was very much a winnable football game. You felt like you could run the ball. And they did. 157 yards rushing. Offense was good for the most part, less, a couple of non-third down conversions, a critical turnover. But, again, defense giving up explosive plays was another big factor in the loss today.
And I think it showed that, in this game, you can't take anything for granted. I mean, we just totally dominated the first half, but it's a game of 4 quarters. You got to play both halves. And, you just cannot take for granted that it's going to continue that way. And, of course, we were married, to their credit, they just hung in there. And, of course, once they got a couple of big plays and momentum changed to their side, and it was just a different ball game. And so it's tough. You got to put it behind you. You don't want to lose twice to William and Mary. We got South Carolina State coming in next week for homecoming. And you just got to be ready. You got to play. There's no doubt about it.
I got to be honest. Jonathan's sentiment is more of what I expected to see today. But to the point that Greg makes. Greg says 45-7 last year, down to the last play this year. Fellas, keep your heads up. Jonathan says we are tired of moral victories. This was a disappointing loss. Let's see. Jay says it's a process, and the team is ahead of my preseason expectations when it comes to competing. So we're going to give Jay the last word as we get ready to get out of here on the Blue and Gold postgame show. Al, any last words?
Well, I mean, we got a game next week, and it's homecoming. It's against South Carolina State. And somehow, some way, we got to find a way to put this behind us and just come out fresh Monday at practice or Tuesday at practice and get ready for South Carolina State, and hope we can keep this momentum that we built offensively today going into next week. And so let's see what happens.
And we hope to definitely keep that momentum going next week, as it is homecoming, and the Aggies going to be taking on, of course, South Carolina State. It is homecoming, and we're looking forward very much to that game. It's a 1 p.m. kickoff. We're coming on with the pregame show at 12:30 on the Aggie Sports Radio Network. Thank you to Dez back at the studios of the Aggie Sports Radio Network for all of his outstanding work. For Al Swann, I'm Donal Ware saying on for now from Zabel Stadium here in Williamsburg. Your final score, William and Mary 38, North Carolina A&T 34. You've been listening to Aggie Football on the Aggie Sports Radio Network.